Live from WTOC, the Southeast news leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Well, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us here on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley, joined with meteorologist Dylan Smith for a look at your Christmas Day forecast. Dylan, by no means a white Christmas, but a pretty darn warm Christmas this year.
No, without a doubt. Definitely warm Christmas. Probably going to see Santa. If you see him around there tomorrow, he'll probably be in shorts, and he might be coming here to vacation with how warm it's going to be. All Let's be honest.
I saw he's in Vietnam right now from the Santa tracker.
He is in Vietnam right now. So over there in the Western Hemisphere, because that's where it's still nighttime, he'll work his way over to America, into the Americas, I guess you could say, as we go into this evening and on into the overnight. But let's take a look out there, talk about your weather right now. We've got a front that's trying to work its way into the area, but that high pressure over Mississippi and Alabama, that's what's going to stop that, keep us where that warmer air is at, and we shouldn't see a lot from that cooler air as we go into the next couple of days. Still, right now, what we are looking at is temperatures warming into the 70s out there. Lots of sunny skies. Definitely doesn't feel like Christmas Eve, even though it is. And then we'll still look for mid-70s as we head into the rest of your afternoon. This is above average by about 12 degrees for this time of the year, 12 to 14 depending. And then we'll still be looking at upper 60s to lower 70s across the, upper 60s to lower 70s along our beaches. I've done this way too much today. Mid to upper 70s for our inland areas. And pretty much as we head into this evening, if you have any plans, going to look at Christmas lights, going to Christmas Eve Mass, whatever you've got going on, it'll be upper 50s by the time we get to 11. So maybe that light coat or favorite hoodie you needed this morning, that'll probably be perfect for you as we go into this evening. And if you are one of those families who gets up first thing in the morning to see what Santa brought, we were one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. It's going to be a little chillier tomorrow morning, especially if you have any gifts that are going to be outside. Mid to lower 50s for our starting temperatures in the morning. And then we'll still be looking at lots of sunny skies as we go throughout the day, partly to mostly sunny with a little bit of patchy fog possible for parts of the low country areas closer to the coast as we head into the morning. But the temperature's going to be exactly the same pretty much for what we've seen as we go into today. Upper 60s at the coast, mid to upper 70s elsewhere around the area. And all this is because of that high pressure. It keeps us that warmer air as we go into your Christmas Day and really throughout the rest of the weekend. High temperatures Thursday through Sunday. Going to be staying in the mid 70s during this time, and we'll continue tracking the nicer weather each day. A few chances to have some cloudiness, but it should still stay warm. A few isolated chances could be happening late Sunday just as we get a little push from the coast, but then take a look at that cold front that rushes through as we go into Monday morning. Windy conditions. If you're coming back to the area, take this into account for Monday, up to 25 mile per hour gusts. It's going to cool down our temperatures into the mid 70s, and then we really have that colder weather. It's going to be pushing its way in as we go into the last week of 2025. So we go from mid 70s Sunday into 60s on Monday, and then take a look at that Tuesday morning temperature below freezing. Looking to see some areas stay below freezing as we go into the start of the new year. So we could see another few spots that'll be below freezing on Wednesday as well. But definitely something just people need to know about. Make sure that you are prepared for it when it's coming in, and great weather up until then. It's really crazy how from both holidays we're going from extremely above average to way below. So
yeah, well, I can't believe it. It's hard to believe we're like officially in winter now.
I know,
which is on the 21st, and we're waiting about a week for it to actually kind of feel like winter.
No, without a doubt. And actually, let's go ahead and pull back up these graphics one more time because I did have this just because you happen to say that.
Okay.
So we do have that cold spell that's going to be coming in as we go into next week, but the overall trend through the first half of the year, Jude, still above average temperatures. This is January, February, and March going into 2026, and we're still looking at below average rain chances. So that drought monitor probably not going to go anywhere. Probably not going to see a lot of cooler temperatures overall for this winter because we are in that weak La Nina, which means you keep pretty much the jet that causes a lot of this type of weather. It stays up in the Great Lakes, and that's why they saw all the snow going into today that they've seen over the past couple of days and everything that we are seeing. So I'm expecting a more mild winter. Doesn't mean we couldn't get a few more of these cold snaps, though, like what we're going to see next week.
Yeah, I was just up in Ohio over the weekend talking to some family. They had a ton of snow this December. Pretty dreary month. So it's crazy to see here, especially, I can't believe it if I might be making a new Christmas tradition tomorrow, going to the beach on Christmas.
Hey,
Coming
there you
from
go.
Idaho, it'd always be Christmas on the slopes. You do a lot of skiing, and a ton of families would do that. But the idea of a holiday in December on the beach sounds awesome.
Yeah, it really does. I love the idea of Christmas on the beach just because it's something completely different. It'd be a nice change for a year, without a doubt. Now, still love the traditional holidays of white Christmases and everything like that, but we had enough of that last year, in my personal opinion.
Sweet. Well, Dylan, thanks for joining us here on
course.
Plus. Certainly appreciate it. All right. Well, we are going to get to the rest of your headlines here on WTOC Plus. Turning now to the Crime Watch. An 18-year-old man was arrested in connection to a shooting into an apartment on Ladies Island. Here's what we've just learned. Nizier Chin was arrested with 2 counts of attempted murder on top of several other charges. That's all according to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. Deputies say he shot into an occupied apartment in the Harbor 1 apartments Monday night. 3 people were inside the apartments at the time of the shooting, including a 7-year-old and a 16 and a 17-year-old as well. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. Well, 3 Savannah residents are now without a home after a house fire broke out. This happened just about 3 hours ago. Here are some pictures of the scene from the Savannah Fire Department. They say around 8:22 this morning, crews were dispatched to this house on East Victory Drive for a structure fire. Now, the flames were contained to just the kitchen. Nobody was hurt. However, 3 people, 2 adults and a kid, were displaced. Well, we're continuing to follow the story. A woman injured in the mass shooting outside of Willie's Bar and Grill on St. Helena Island is now filing a lawsuit against the restaurant, its owners, and its property owners. Quinetta Clark says they failed to provide adequate security despite a history of violence at that location. Clark says she was trying to leave the alumni tailgate at the bar when that violence broke out. She says she was shot in the back. Now, the lawsuit targets Willie Turl, the bar owner, property owners James and Bernice Wright, and the shooting suspect, Anthony Freeman. Clark is also seeking compensation from Freeman after suffering injuries that continue to cause physical pain, mental anguish, and medical expenses. Now, the bar's owner did give us the following statement saying, quote, "The venue was rented to a third-party promoter, and the incident occurred entirely outside of the premises. I'm fully cooperating with the legal process and intend to defend myself through the courts." Turning now to state news, the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office is working to reassure the community after the capture of 3 escaped Georgia inmates.
My primary focus is to make sure that you all know that DeKalb County Jail is secure.
Investigators located the inmates near Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The escape happened Sunday night. Now, U.S. Marshals say the escapees called someone for a ride, went to one of the inmates' girlfriend's homes where she called them a rideshare to South Florida. According to court records, once they arrived, the inmates allegedly put a rope around the rideshare driver's neck, tied her hands, and stole her car. She was found in a nearby home with one of the inmates. 2 of those 3 escaped inmates have already appeared in court. They were both denied bond, and the 3rd inmate is in the hospital. Turning now to national news. This morning, the DOJ is facing heavy criticism for how it's been releasing court documents linked to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Today, we're waiting on more from the slow trickle of documents that have so far featured heavy redactions. Hundreds of thousands of files have still been held back. Now, in the latest batch, which was released yesterday, President Trump's name is listed multiple times. However, the National Justice Department says many of the claims in them are, quote, unfounded and false. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
The Department of Justice released tens of thousands of new Jeffrey Epstein files this week, some mentioning President Trump, then a private citizen, by name. There's this DOJ email that says Mr. Trump took more flights on Epstein's plane than previously known, at least 8 in the 90s.
I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago.
President Trump has said he had a falling out with Epstein years ago and maintains he had no knowledge of the well-connected convicted sex offender's crimes.
What this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has.
The Justice Department defended President Trump in a social media post Tuesday, writing that the documents contained sensationalist claims about the president that are unfounded and false. Other emails show that federal agents asked for updates in contacting 10 potential co-conspirators, including Epstein's girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell, but most names are redacted.
We are not going to quit until justice is done.
Congressional Democrats and some Republicans have criticized the DOJ for not meeting the law's deadline to release all of the files with necessary redactions by last Friday. Jennifer Freeman, an attorney for some of Epstein's survivors, says they're raising concerns as well.
They want the truth, and it's been very hard to get the truth.
The DOJ says it still has hundreds of thousands of files to release. Lawmakers are threatening to take legal action to force them to speed up. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, back here at home, we do have new details on a fatal crash in Pooler from last night that backed up Highway 80 for hours. Now, this was the scene around 8 o'clock last night near the I-95 interchange. The crash involved a pedestrian and a tractor-trailer, and the pedestrian was killed in that crash. Mayor Karen Williams put out a statement about the crash, asking for the community to join her in prayer for the family of the victim. She also asked residents to be extra defensive in driving this season, and that it is the perfect time of year to practice some extra patience with one another. And if you do plan on being out on the roads, state leaders are urging you to plan ahead and never get behind the wheel impaired. State troopers will be out in full today through the holiday weekend with zero tolerance for drunk or impaired driving. Georgia State Patrol shared that last year they issued over 10,000 citations during the Christmas and New Year's holiday travel period statewide. They also remind us that if you're out drinking, to consider using a rideshare service or calling a friend or loved one or planning for a designated driver. Well, it is Christmas Eve, and if you're a bit of a procrastinator, you might still have some Christmas presents to shop for. Reporter Mary Kate Hamilton with our sister station in Atlanta has more on what shoppers should be thinking about today, as well as which stores are open and closed this Christmas Eve.
Well, we've talked about last-minute shopping, but now it really is the last-minute. Stores, including grocery stores, many of them will be completely closed tomorrow, so take stock of what you need and get it done today. Now, 160 million Americans will be shopping today. That's according to the National Retail Federation. And if you're still trying to set a budget, here's the average. Consumers spent $847 this year on holiday spending. And yes, that includes their meals and sometimes even travel. Now, if you're getting out to shop today, plan to come sooner in the day rather than later and pack your patience.
I mean, it's amazing when you're the only one shopping, but when there's tons of people, it's a little overwhelming and overstimulating. So I'm ready to go home. But other than that, it's great.
Don't say we didn't warn you, and happy shopping. Reporting at Atlantic Station, Mary Kate Hamilton, Atlanta News First.
Yeah, I was at the Wawa in Pooler this morning before work, and a lot of people there. Probably not the best place to buy Christmas presents, but their hoagies can make for a good gift, I guess. All right, well, if you are thinking about shopping this holiday season and money, your energy bill shouldn't add to any of that stress from holiday spending. Electronics companies say that simple changes other than just turning off your lights can really help cut your energy bill. Here's what most people don't know. Your lights use almost no energy compared to your heater. Every degree above 68 costs you about $10 a month. So if you're at 72 degrees, that's $40 you're throwing away. The fix is to dress warmer indoors, wear long sleeves, blankets, slippers, etc. And if you wear shorts comfortably inside, you can probably turn that heat down.
You have solar at your home already. Winter usage is not really going to help you a ton because our peak usage time is during the coldest time each day, and that's when the sun's not shining. So if you have solar PV at your home, if you can invest in battery storage, that's great. Or if you already have battery storage and you can discharge those batteries during our peak usage times, which is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the winter, that will definitely help you out.
And you heard from Dylan earlier, you probably won't have to rely on that heater too much for at least the next week or so. But smart thermostats can help too. They learn what your usage is and adjust automatically, as well as remind you when to change your air filter. Well, we are continuing our year in review here on WTOC Plus, where we've been going through some of the top headlines. Last week, we had international stories, health, and politics. And today, since it's Christmas Eve, we wanted to talk about something a little bit more lighter and fun and look at some of the top entertainment stories from 2025, where from diss tracks to demon hunters, 2025 really set the stage for an unforgettable year. Gwen Bumgarner has some of the major entertainment stories from this past year.
They not like us. They not like us.
Kendrick Lamar kicked off 2025 with 5 Grammy wins, including Song and Record of the Year for Not Like Us. And only a week later, headlining the Super Bowl halftime show with a musical performance surrounded by social commentary.
Oh, look at these two.
It wasn't the music that made this Coldplay concert unforgettable.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
This Jumbotron moment went viral, sparking parodies, memes, and the pair's job resignations. At the Oscars, indie film Anora walked away with 5 awards, including Best Picture. And at the Emmys, Apple TV's The Studio received 13 wins, setting a record for most wins by a comedy series in a single season. Jimmy Kimmel was temporarily out of a job when ABC suspended him following a monologue about the murder of Charlie Kirk. The decision prompted protests and discourse about free speech. Adding to the late-night shakeup,
the network will be ending The Late Show in May. And
Stephen Colbert announced his decade-running show on CBS was coming to an end. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs was convicted on prostitution charges and sentenced to 50 months in jail following a trial that spanned several weeks. And the legal battle continues for It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Lively accused Baldoni of sexual harassment. He hit back with a lawsuit claiming defamation and extortion. Baldoni's lawsuit was dismissed. Memorials continue to grow following the shocking death of Rob Reiner, the decorated director and actor, along with his wife Michelle, killed in their Los Angeles home.
I want to tell you how the world lost its mind with grief the day you died.
This was part of a tribute to Diane Keaton as the world said goodbye to several Hollywood legends in 2025. Actors Robert Redford, Gene Hackman, Malcolm Jamal Warner, and the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne.
They're stealing the souls of our fans?
K-pop Demon Hunters hit a high note on Netflix, becoming the site's most streamed movie ever. At the domestic box office, the Minecraft movie had the year's biggest opening weekend, pulling in more than $162 million. Billionaires headed down the aisle in 2025. Jeff Bezos wed Lauren Sanchez in Venice. Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco had an intimate ceremony in California. Taylor Swift also got her love story. The singing superstar became engaged to NFL boyfriend Travis Kelce in August. Her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, became the fastest-selling album in history. Those are some of the year's top entertainment stories. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, well, I talked about this a little bit in the 10 o'clock show, but I wanted to make my Oscars predictions. Anora won it in 2025 this year. That story talked about. Great movie. I just saw Hamnet earlier this week, and that was a really impressive one with Jessie Buckley. Incredible performance. I think that might be my Oscar pick. I've heard a lot about One Battle After Another too with Paul Thomas Anderson. It's hard to beat him. I actually haven't seen that movie. And then I am looking forward to Marty Supreme, which comes out this weekend. I've heard some good things about that. So I know my Oscar pick, Hamnet, great movie. It's still in theaters. Probably not the best Christmas movie because it is a little heavier. But if you're into Shakespeare, if you're into historical dramas, that's my recommendation. All right. Well, before we wrap things up here, of course, tomorrow is Christmas, and nobody's getting into the spirit more than the town of Santa Claus, Georgia. With streets named December Drive and Candy Cane Lane, how much more festive can you get? Santa Claus, Georgia was founded in the 1930s by a local pecan farmer who gave the town its name to draw travelers on U.S. Highway 1 to his business. He even carved the town out of one of his pecan groves. Today, the community of just over 200 spreads Christmas cheer year-round, and visitors still come to the official Santa Claus postmark on their holiday cards.
I stamp cards with the City of Santa Claus stamp. Santa picks up mail there so that children can put their letters in there. And if he doesn't come by, then I send them to him, so he always gets the letters if you put them in Santa Claus.
And Santa Claus himself loves the town named after him, and officials say he even comes to visit during their holiday events. You know, I lived in Indiana for a little while, just north of Indianapolis, and there's a town called Santa Claus, Indiana, as well, with a amusement park called Holiday World. Really interesting. But as far as we know, those are the only two places in the world named after the big man himself, Kris Kringle, right here in Georgia as well as in Indiana. Both look like really cool towns. And speaking of the big man himself, we wanted to end the show pulling up the NORAD Santa tracker. Here's a full view of it. You can see right now Santa Claus is in Mongolia. Just earlier, we saw him over Australia. Of course, this is such a cool thing that NORAD does every year. They've been doing it for 70 years now, believe it or not. All started when a young boy accidentally dialed the wrong number to the Airspace Defense Administration because it was misprinted in a newspaper. One of the commanders picked up and heard the kid calling for Santa, and he didn't want to disappoint, so he told him where he was. And now every year this team out of Colorado does the Santa tracking. We got word from the Georgia Department of Agriculture just about an hour ago that Santa Claus and his reindeer have been cleared to enter Georgia after going through being cleared by an inspection. So it's nice to see everyone getting into the holiday spirit. And if you do want to track Santa throughout the day, obviously you can do it on the NORAD website, but we also do have a feed of it on WTOC Plus. It's that secondary stream, so if you're watching this on our website or on the WTOC Plus app, it's just that next feed down. It's called WTOC Breaking News and Weather. We'll have this on throughout the evening if you'd like to track Santa. Could make a nice little Yule log as well. And with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We appreciate you spending part of your morning with us. Merry Christmas. And we will be back with another round of stories in just about 40 minutes during the news at noon. And in the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to get the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.